Hello and welcome back to Rabbit Reads, where we are on Chapter 3 of Skulduggery Pleasant Playing with Fire. And this chapter is entitled Vengeous. The first thing Baron Vengeous did when he set foot on Irish soil was murder someone. He would have preferred to arrive without incident, to have stepped off the boat and disappeared into the city. But his hand had been forced. He had been recognized. The sorcerer had seen him, picked him out in the crowd as he disembarked. Vengeous had walked away from the crowd, led the sorcerer somewhere quiet out of the way. It was an easy kill. He had taken the sorcerer by surprise. A brief struggle, and Vengeous's arm had wrapped around the man's throat. He hadn't even needed to use his magic. Once he had disposed of the body, Vengeous walked deeper into Dublin City, relishing the freedom that was his again after so long. He was tall and his chest was broad, his tightly cropped beard the same gunmetal gray as his hair. His clothes were dark, the jacket buttons polished to a gleam, and his boots clacked on the street-lit pavements. Dublin had changed dramatically since he'd been here last. The world had changed dramatically. He heard the quiet footsteps behind him. He stopped, but he didn't turn. The man in black to walk around him into his line of sight. "Baron," the man said in greeting. "You're late." "I'm here, which is the main thing." Vengeous looked into the man's eyes. "I don't tolerate insubordination." Mr. Dusk, perhaps you have forgotten." "Times have changed," Dusk responded evenly. "The war is over." "Not for us." A taxi passed, and the sweeping headlights illuminated Dusk's pale face and black hair. "Sagouine isn't with you," he noted. Vengeous resumed walking, Dusk by his side. "He will join us soon, and have no fear. Are you sure you can trust him? I appreciate that he freed you from prison, but it took him 80 years to do it." Were Dusk any other man, this remark would have been the height of the hypocrisy, as he himself had not lifted one finger to help Vengeous either. But Dusk was not any other man. Dusk was scarcely a man, and as such loyalty was not in his nature. A certain level of obedience, perhaps, but not loyalty. Because of this, Vengeous harbored no resentment towards him. The resentment he harbored towards Sanguine, on the other hand. Dusk's breathing suddenly became strained. He reached into his coat and fumbled with a syringe, then jabbed the needle into his forearm. He depressed the plunger, forcing the colorless liquid into his bloodstream, and moments later he was breathing regularly again. "I'm glad to see you're still in control," Vengeous said. Dusk put the syringe away. "I wouldn't be much good to you if I wasn't, would I? What do you need me to do?" "There will be some obstacles to our work, some enemies we will no doubt face. The skeleton detective, for example. Apparently he has an apprentice now, a dark-haired girl. You will wait for them outside the sanctuary tonight, and you will follow them. And when she is alone, you will fetch her for me." "Of course." "Alive, Dusk." There was hesitation. "Of course," Dusk repeated. So, that was the end of Chapter 3, which I guess is kind of like a short introduction to Dusk and Vengeous, which isn't all that bad. Vengeous got off the boat and immediately is already killing people. So that's a kind of a good sign, I guess. Good sign in the sense that he is an evil guy, so he'll have somewhat of a challenge for Skulduggery and Valkyrie. And the fact that he has already pinpointed and already knows that Valkyrie is with Skulduggery is a thing in and of itself. Because if I remember correctly, Sanguine is one of the old elders, or is one of the elders from the first book. Actually, no, that doesn't make any sense. All the elders were killed in the first book. Never mind. But nevertheless, either Sanguine is one of the people giving information to the bad guys, that way they have a leg up. But either way, it's proven that they're bad guys. And there's something to Dusk with that clear liquid having to jab into his arm, or else he has like an asthma attack or something. I don't know. It's odd. But in any case, I'm going to leave this one here. So thank you guys so much for listening to this one. If you liked it, you know what to do. Keep things crazy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.